All right, welcome to Not Suitable for Adults. It's the show that you chose to listen to about shows that we were forced to watch.
Suckers.
No, they chose it. This is the life that they chose for
Well, maybe
themselves.
we're the suckers then.
We're the suckers, whose names are Rich.
And Natalie.
And very exciting day, or last few days for us, as we've gotten super... I think I've talked about before, obviously, in one of the last 8 or so episodes, that we're getting more and more into this sort of Twitter sphere of like podcasters and people like that. And we actually got, finally, our first like shout out on Twitter for something that someone was actually asking us to talk about.
Hey, girl, hey.
We're at like 215 Twitter followers now, by the way.
Yeah.
And about as many total downloads of our show since we launched, which is amazing.
That's just silly.
It's real. It's fact. These are facts in the world.
Parenting break.
Parenting break already.
And honey, you can't do slime. You can't do slime back there. So stop. And we're back!
Well, we're back! Classic. Anyway.
Thanks, Jimmy Fallon. We heart you.
Yeah. So anyway, so we got our first request for a topic, and it's actually a throwback to something we've talked about a little bit when we discussed Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. And we're just going to start the show off with this, and this is kind of going to be our question of the day also, since it was actually listener submitted, so that's exciting.
It's kind of more of a topic than a question, though.
It is, but...
Topic of the day.
That's it.
Okay.
So the topic is cartoon characters and pants.
Or just articles of clothing.
Yeah.
Pants.
Pants. And so on Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, we talked about this, that the male tigers go pantsless and the mom tiger does not.
Right. She wears a full wardrobe while the dad, Daniel, and the grandpa are wearing jackets or sweaters, but no bottoms.
And we didn't really talk about this last time, but nothing under the sweaters. Just like zipped up a sweater on top of their fur.
Yeah, but then PJ time comes along.
Right.
And
then
they
it's
wear
full,
PJ bottoms.
Right. And so, rightly so, it's been pointed out that this is true for so many cartoon characters.
Absolutely.
And sort of want to do a little bit of a deep dive on just this whole cartoon characters and clothing issue.
Well, it's mostly pants, isn't it? It's mostly a pants thing.
I thought it was mostly pants, but I think we think it's mostly pants because it's rare for there to be like, I guess it's not that weird. I guess it's less weird for like a cartoon character to be topless than to be, and we don't really think of it as topless, but like, it's not that weird. So like Mickey Mouse, for instance.
Yeah.
Traditionally just wears those big red shorts.
Right.
And doesn't wear a shirt.
Right.
But then Donald Duck usually is wearing a like shirt and jacket and no pants.
And these are all mostly the males.
Yeah, that's true. So I did a little bit of prep on this.
I didn't.
Just a little bit, because I wanted to kind of get a feel for what this looked like. And there's basically like 3 categories of, or maybe 4 categories of cartoon character. There's topless, there's bottomless, there's naked or mostly naked, like naked and an accessory, and there's fully clothed.
Okay.
And so like a fully clothed, and we're going to kind of, right now we just happen to be staying in like the Disney realm. So like Goofy is traditionally fully clothed.
Oh, true. Yeah.
He wears shoes and pants and a shirt.
Yeah.
And while most of the people around him don't. Someone online pointed out that Minnie in the modern world usually wears a dress.
Yes.
But in the early illustrations of Minnie Mouse, she didn't. She wore just a skirt, and she and Mickey were both topless.
Oh.
And I also noted that on the Animaniacs TV show, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, those three sort of main characters, Yakko wears only pants, Wacko wears only a hooded sweatshirt, and Dot only wears a skirt. And so, yeah.
I wonder why this decision is made. When they're drawing and researching and just, creating these characters, do they make this... I don't know if it's an animation decision or what.
So I think in the first place... Okay, so first of all, it's always only animals, right? I mean,
right.
In general, human characters are portrayed appropriately clothed for whatever they are. So like a baby might just be wearing a diaper, but in general,
yes,
human characters are wearing clothes. They're the fully clothed characters. Yeah, I think that there's this thing that like they thought it's a good idea to add clothing to the animal characters because that sort of humanizes them since they're also walking around and talking usually.
So you're not just looking at them thinking that they're running around in the jungle. Like they're like real people.
Yeah. Oh, Porky Pig thinks he's people. But then I think it probably is an animation thing. I imagine the less like flappy extra things you have to draw. I mean, if you think about, again, Mickey Mouse, so if you don't have to draw a shirt on Mickey Mouse, he's just like a black blob on top.
He's just a black blob with red pants on.
He's got shorts and a black blob and then a head. Yeah. And so it's probably just easier to not fully clothe them.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's interesting to me is, and I guess this is maybe just, no, it can't just be us because people have noticed it. I wish that it was consistently applied. I just wish whatever rule like a show is going to do, or a universe of characters or whatever, I kind of wish they'd just be consistently applied, right?
You mean like all the animal characters just wear pants?
Or like if in Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, if like the male tigers are only going to wear shirts, always only wear shirts. Or
like they don't change that at bedtime.
Right. So, but like it's almost always a mix and match within the world. So like here's another good example, SpongeBob SquarePants. Mm-hmm. SpongeBob SquarePants himself wears full clothing.
Yes.
It's hard to see, but he's wearing a shirt and pants and shoes.
Yeah, it's because he's so square. It's hard to see that, but yes.
And then, of course, Patrick only wears pants.
Yes.
And Squidward only wears a shirt.
Yes. I'm sure it would be difficult to put pants on Squidward, though. But, like, Sandy the squirrel is usually dressed in some sort of full clothing.
Yeah, doesn't she usually wear...
Well, she's usually wearing her, like, spacesuit, water suit type thing, but also she wears, like, a karate outfit.
Yeah,
and
that's
right. when she's going swimming or something, she, like, has on a bathing suit and a bathing suit top and stuff like that.
Anyway, it's got to be the animation thing. I think that's got to be the reason. It's just that it's harder to draw more things. But it is weird. It's a really weird phenomenon, I think, in cartoons, and it's hard to think of like what the consistent rule is. But I don't know. That's kind of can you like off the top of your head, if you're thinking about like can you think of like an especially weird one that kind of stands out? Like why did they make that particular decision?
I mean, I was kind of thinking that Sesame Street's kind of weird.
Okay.
Because Big Bird doesn't really wear anything, right? But like...
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about the practically naked ones. So there's characters like good example, Big Bird. He wears he has like a collar, right? And that's like kind of it. Doesn't he have like a collar or he wears a tie or something?
I don't know. I should look at Cora's Sesame Street book.
Yeah, go find that. But like... Also, so Yogi Bear is a good example. Yogi only wears a hat and a tie. And other than that, he's nude. And there's a few characters that are like that just, or one good one that I saw online. I don't really think of this as a cartoon character because he's just kind of a mascot, but Tony the Tiger is like this. Tony the Tiger just wears a handkerchief around his neck.
Oh, yes, you're right. Scandalous. I don't see a collar around Big Bird in these particular little, just like kids book things. But like Bert and Ernie wear clothes. Mm-hmm. Well, they wear shirts at least.
Right.
I know day to day. But Elmo, and Oscar the Grouch and stuff, they're all just like clothesless.
Yeah, same.
And Big Bird and
same for the Muppets.
Oh yeah, and Cookie Monster. Yeah, they're all. Oh yeah, the Muppets too.
They get mixed up because like Kermit doesn't wear clothes, but Miss Piggy does.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it looks like the ladies also of Sesame Street, and I'm forgetting some of their names, Natasha and stuff. Well, actually, looks like she's just wearing. No, Zoe. Zoe wears nothing but a bracelet and a necklace and some like hair bows.
Okay.
And that's a girl that's not wearing any sort of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know, but it's an interesting topic. I feel actually now that we've started it, I almost feel like we could talk about it for a really long time, and we kind of already have. And so,
you guys tired of this subject yet?
I don't know. I think that's interesting though. We'll revisit this, and if you're listening to this and you saw the little brief exchange on Twitter and you want to expand more on it, please feel free. You can tweet at us as usual at Not for Adults Cast, and we would love to talk more about this topic in the future.
The number 4. I just always want to let everybody know that it's Not for Adults Cast, and it's the number 4.
I like that. What happened is when you said the number 4, you were holding the Sesame Street stuff, and I was like, today's episode is brought to you by the number 4, like they do on Sesame Street. Anyway.
Oh, and the Count. The Count wears like tons of clothes.
Sure.
But he's also like Dracula, sort of. So
this
anyway,
has been fun.
Yeah.
We'll do more on this later.
Okay.
So now kind of back to our normal thing. We're just going to talk about something that's come up for us this week, or that we've been wanting to talk about and we haven't yet. And Natalie's going to go first. Yes.
So thankfully, Cora has not been watching this show as much lately. But when she was littler, around, 2-ish, every single day of my life.
Every day.
Was spent trying to block out the sounds of the TV show Word Party.
Word Party.
The party's just begun. It's on Netflix, and they just came out with season 4. Yep. Now, the reason why I've been wanting to talk about Word Party, but the reason that I'm doing it now is because season 4 just came out, and some big changes are happening.
Oh man, so much new drama.
Okay, so buckle up, people. Here it goes. So Word Party in seasons 1 through 3 follow 3 little baby animals. 4 little baby animals. They're about. I'm gonna assume they're like. In their animal age, but in our age, blah, 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 like 2 to 3 years old.
Yeah, that's kind of how they see it. They're portrayed wearing diapers and drinking from bottles.
But only diapers, no other clothes.
That's true.
So Kip is a wallaby, and he's kind of the silly, goofy, fun-loving one. Hey, baby, can you come sit up here and watch your show? Okay.
Kip.
Yes, so what I was saying was Kip is a wallaby, and he's the goofy, fun-loving, silly one. Franny is a cheetah, and she's kind of the leader of the pack. She always says, I'm the oldest. Bailey is an elephant, and he's kind of the heart of the group. He is really in touch with people's feelings and emotions, and he's just kind of the quiet, more gentler one. He's the sensitive one. Lulu is a panda, and she's the baby that always has something to ask. Flanny, why?
That is really good.
Thanks.
Good.
Yes, thank you. So in this show, these 4 babies are basically learning words for the things that they're encountering in their day-to-day life, whether that be emotions or action words or the shapes of things or colors of things or just anything. They're learning the words for these things because their big thing is use your words.
Yep.
And so they're teaching you how to use your words and what those words are. It's great. I really think that part of it is great. I really think Cora learned what opposites were from
this
Word
show.
Party.
Yep.
Like, she's sitting on the couch nodding her head. Like, she knows what an opposite is because pretty early on when she was watching this show, they did an opposites episode, and she kind of grasped onto that. And I like that part of it. While you're watching it, the watcher is considered the big kids.
Yeah.
So they're the babies, and we're the big kids.
And there's kind of a narrator voice that comes in
Yes.
as like the grown-up every now and then to explain to the kids something that they need to know.
Yes, so a narrator will come up and say, the babies are waking up from their nap. And then you go in and you see these 4 babies waking up from their nap. The thing that stands out to me is that there are no caretakers in this world. And this world only consists of these 4 babies.
Yep.
Their bedroom, their kitchen, their playroom, and their outside play space.
Yeah, where there's like a garden and a lake and...
Yes, but there are no adult figures at all in these children's lives.
So
Except for the narrator, who every once in a while will say something like, it's time to do something like whatever. But there's never any parental figures. And they feed themselves. They get their own bottles. They put themselves down for a nap. And they teach each other how to do these things.
I've always thought of the narrator as kind of standing behind the big kids. Like I'm here to observe and make sure everything goes okay. But I'm going to let the big kids try to help the babies.
Yes.
There's
also
there's someone there, but behind the fourth wall, behind us, behind an even more fourth wall.
Yes, but also interacting with these babies are 3 different robot contraptions.
Yeah.
And these are the things that are actually kind of taking care of these kids.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Tickety Talk, who is the clock that tells them what time it is, what time of the day it is. So they have bedtime, they have playtime, or they say time to play, or they say time to go outside, or they say time to eat.
Yeah.
Those are like the 4 things. Eat, play, go outside, go to sleep. And Tickety Talk...
Those are the 4 things.
Yeah. Tickety Talk tells them what time it is for each of those things. They also have something called the What's It toy.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll be like, oh no, we don't have a way to cut this birthday cake because we are babies. And then the What's It toy comes up and goes, brr, 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 and they're like, oh, what's in the What's It toy?
And there's a little song for the What's It toy.
Little song. It's song.
What's it? What's it? What's it? A what's it? What's in a What's It toy?
I thought you said there was a saw in the
Yeah,
What's
and then
It
there's always a saw in the What's It toy.
Well, in that particular one, he does give them like a
the
cake
knife,
cutter knife thing. And then that's when they learn quarters and half and stuff like that when they're cutting the cakes.
Important skills.
And then there's Word Wally, who just helps them learn the words that they're learning through the day.
You've forgotten a robot.
Who did I forget?
You forgot Party in a Box.
Oh, you're right. There is Party in the Box. Party in the Box is literally just, he doesn't really help with anything. He just turns on fun
It's just
music.
like when it's time to do a big music breakdown, boom, Party in a Box.
Yes. So that's the lowdown on what seasons 1 through 3 were. Season 4, we got a big surprise. We've got a new baby. And this is not just a baby. This is an infant.
Yeah, a real
baby.
Well, real makes it sound like it's a human. It's not.
No. It's an animal baby, but
Like a practically
meaning-
newborn.
yes. So Tilly is a turtle, and she shows up, and I asked Cora, I honestly did not see the first episode that she shows up, and I was like, where did Tilly come from? And she said, she came from an egg.
Duh.
And I was like, okay. Apparently they just found an egg in their house, and Tilly was hatched. Tilly is a legitimate baby turtle. She doesn't know how to really speak much or walk or anything at the beginning of the 4th season. So these 4 toddlers are taking care of this infant turtle. Also, the cool thing about Tilly, which I think is just interesting, they brought in a new dynamic. Tilly speaks Mandarin. So when they are learning the words now, they are learning the words in English and in Mandarin.
Which is kind of cool.
It is kind of cool because that's putting new languages into the minds of these kids.
And at least the first couple of episodes are the 2 that I was present for. The first few are like the little kids learning, because they'll be doing something with Tilly and she'll start saying a word and they don't understand what that word is. And so the first few are like learning what yes and no and stop are in Mandarin, because like they're like, Tilly, do you want to do this? And she's like nodding and she's saying the word, and I can't remember the word. Sure. It's sure. That's what it was.
Sure.
Yeah, because it sounds like sure.
Yeah.
She's sure, and then do you want to do something? Boo. So boo is no. And then there's one point where like they're spinning her around on her shell, which is really terrible. And
This
I think
is why
that's
4 toddlers should not be caretakers for an infant.
I think that's Lulu is spinning her around on her shell, and she's going ting ting ting, and Lulu just goes, I think ting means this is fun or something, and they're like, nope, we just learned ting means stop.
Yeah.
So she was telling you to stop all that time.
Yeah.
So the first few are that, and then I think probably eventually it will just be that we're going to learn the words for all these different things in the world in both languages, which is cool.
Yeah, and I'm not mad that Cora doesn't watch this as much anymore, because, man alive, it can be...
It's very much for young kids.
It is for younger kids, yeah.
So here is one sort of cool behind-the-scenes thing about Word Party.
I knew you were going to talk about this.
Because it's very cool.
You just think this is so interesting.
I do. So Word Party is made by the Jim Henson Company, which is appropriate because we were just talking about Muppets and Sesame Street. It's made by the Jim Henson Company, and these characters are actually like digital puppetry. And what they are in reality is these motion capture suits that people are wearing against just a green screen. And then these digital characters are being laid on top of the motion capture.
Yeah.
So everything that you're seeing them do, the way we sort of figured this out initially was, if you just are watching it, it looks weirdly animated because some of the movements that they do don't look like cartoons. Like it looks like people. It looks
more
like
fluid.
Yeah, it looks like the thing a person would really do. It doesn't look like an animated character. And so, like, I kind of looked into it, and yeah, it's people wearing suits acting out everything, and they're doing the dances, and it actually kind of makes sense then when you see like there's moments where they're doing a dance and they're a little bit out of sync with each other, which is weird. That's kind of what I mean. Like normally if you see animated characters dancing, they're dancing pretty much perfectly in sync.
Right.
And these are not dancing in sync, and so it's because they're actually people in suits. I just think that's really cool.
It has to be exhausting.
Oh, sure, but I'm sure they also get paid very well.
I hope so.
I do too.
All right. Well,
All
so
right.
that's...
Anyway.
All right. Well, I hope they are
That's-
getting compensated. So that's Word Party. Just proceed with caution with Word Party. It's not bad.
It's extremely valuable. It will teach a child
Words.
so many good words.
And how to use them and everything, but you may want to put in your headphones and listen to your favorite podcast.
Hey,
Hey, it's us.
I wonder what that is, and then we'll talk about Word Party. Also, so it keeps the cycle going.
Okay, what did you have for us today?
So the other day, we had seen it before, but we just watched again the new live action remake of Aladdin.
Yeah, we watched it with my mom.
And we really like this movie.
I
Both versions
love
of the movie.
it. I have to say, I like it better than the original cartoon version.
I think everyone was really scared, obviously, about this movie with Will Smith portraying the genie. And not that people thought he wouldn't do a good job, but it was sensitive because of Robin Williams.
Right.
But I think in the end they made a really fun movie. It doesn't take the fact that it's live action too seriously. Like it still kind of feels cartoony in a lot of ways.
Right.
But it's good. The main thing I want to talk about in this, because the whole thing's good. I like we could talk about the movie more extensively and do like an actual review. For the most part, we got cracked up. We got cracked up when Aladdin goes into the Cave of Wonders.
Yeah, so I guess this was this last night?
Yeah.
It was last night. We were sitting, we were watching, and we were trying to figure out a movie, and I said, Mom, have you seen the new live action Aladdin? And she's
Oh,
like,
yeah, Natalie's mom was staying with us.
no. And so we were like, okay, let's turn it on. And just throughout the Cave of Wonders thing, we just kept going back and forth between me and Rich and Maggie and just saying, like, what is happening?
Because it's not something we'd ever...
Just a minute, please, babe. We'll be done soon.
Anyway.
Recording with a kid in the room is
Yeah.
not easy.
So we're going into the Cave of Wonders, and it's just... It's something we never, I guess, maybe noticed before, but the rules of the Cave of Wonders are so weird.
Rules.
And first of all, we're like, who... why did this even need to happen? And Natalie's like, well, the lion head, it's his cave.
It's the cave of what? It's the lion's cave.
He can do what
Actually,
he
is the
can say
cave.
what he wants. But so from the beginning, he's like, only one may enter here, and then
the diamond in the rough.
and then Aladdin and Abu go in, and we're like, wait, Abu gets to go in with him, and we're like, at most two may enter here.
If it's one and a monkey,
As long
fine.
as one of you is a monkey, only one human may enter here, with as many animal companions as he wants. And then they get in there and you're not allowed to touch anything. But then it was pointed out that they touch a lot of stuff.
They touch a lot of
Because
things.
they fall down a couple of times and they touch so we're like, okay, but maybe, that doesn't count as touching. That,
Yeah, so maybe it's the intent of touching. Like,
right, because like Abu gets his hands later on the
ruby.
the big ruby, and then he holds it.
Yeah.
And then that's when the cave starts to rumble.
Right.
So, but then we're like, so he finds the magic carpet, and he frees the magic carpet, and the magic carpet flies all around the place and like skims gold all over the place, and we're like, touch nothing but the lamp unless you're the magic carpet. Magic carpet can touch whatever he wants. He can
But then they touch the magic carpet.
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, and the magic carpet's in there. And yeah, they're like hanging out with him and no big deal. And so
Touch nothing but the lamp. Oh, okay. You can touch the magic carpet.
you can touch the magic carpet, but nothing else, and the magic carpet can touch whatever he wants.
Yes. And as long as you're touching the things without the intent to steal them, that's fine. But only one of you can come in. But only if one of you is a human, but the other one can be a monkey. We'll allow the monkey.
And the one that we're talking about doesn't have to be the one that steals for me to want to kill that guy.
Right, exactly. Like the monkey's the one that made the error.
It's just wild. The whole like, and where'd they come up with all these rules? And again, it's like, I mean, it's hilarious. It's so like you can't pick it apart too much because it's just a movie. It's just for fun. But we were cracking ourselves up because constantly this rule is being broken.
Yes.
In the end, at some point, there are three. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Three like beings in the Cave of Wonders at once.
Yeah.
Not counting the genie.
Then at the end, when he's trying to climb up to get out, Jafar has stepped inside.
True.
Jafar has stepped inside and then, like, basically, kind of pushes him or steps on his hand or whatever.
Here's a question for you. So,
and Iago was there as well.
Yeah, Iago's in there too. Mm-hmm. Here's a question for you. So, Abu grabs the ruby. It kind of falls into his hands. But then you can see he wants to keep it. So, fine. Whatever.
Intention.
Lionhead decides that's it and decides to destroy.
He's like, I'm done.
He decides to kind of destroy them, but then kind of not because like all that lava and stuff comes in. But then after that's done, it cools off immediately, and there's still a bunch of gold laying around.
Yeah, and he's still in there alive. Like the cave doesn't kill him or anything.
Right, and apparently that doesn't matter. And they probably could have just stolen some of the. They probably could have taken some of the treasure at that point. Yeah. So. Like, I wonder why everything kind of worked out for Aladdin in that situation. Like, he could have been like, oh, cool. All right, let's take a bunch of this gold out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't love that they changed the way... I mean, I think it's kind of cool, kind of interesting. I think the way that they trick Genie in the cave is not as good as the cartoon.
Yeah, because in the cartoon, he says, I bet you can't.
Right, he just appeals to his vanity.
Right.
And his hubris, and he's like, well, watch this, and gets him out of there. I do like kind of how they do it in the live action one, where they like back out into the movie theater.
Yes.
Like, that's kind of interesting, but that's maybe the only thing, like, kind of in review mode now. That's one of the only things that they changed that I'm like, man, Pretty much everything else I like. I just don't like it as much as him getting tricked.
Gotcha.
I thought that was more like Aladdin's character, and also this is a magical object. Again, so now we're talking about the rules of the lamp. Like,
right.
Like, it just shouldn't work. Like, okay, now we're doing this. So later, when Jafar becomes the genie,
yeah,
he physically can't do a thing that like hasn't been rubbed on the lamp and asked for. He tries to reach for Aladdin and he can't because that hasn't been asked for. So
how is Genie doing
like a couple of times is like, listen, I bent or broke the rules for you on this one. It's like, how? This is a magic item.
Maybe he's just experienced.
He just knows the fine print really well.
Yeah, he knows the loopholes and everything, so he just figures it out.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll just have to suspend my disbelief.
He's been a genie for thousands of years. Jafar just was a genie for a second. He couldn't figure... He didn't know the
loopholes for how to kill the guy that just turned him into a genie.
Yeah. Well, genies can't kill, really, right?
Man, I hope they make Aladdin 2. I hope they make Return of Jafar
in
the live action one.
Honestly, not sure if I've seen Return of Jafar.
It's on Disney Plus. We should watch it.
No.
It's one of the only animated Disney sequels that I think is any good.
Okay. Anyway, live action Aladdin.
Live action
we
Aladdin,
dig it.
worth it. We like it. It's
a
funny.
a couple of new songs, or really just like
Mainly
the
they
one
feature
Jasmine
Jasmine more.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And it's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, it is.
There's some really funny...
Some good yucks in that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, this has been Not Suitable for Adults. As always, we thank you so much for listening to us, and we hope that if you like what you're listening to, you'll do a couple of things. One is let us know. We're becoming bigger and bigger on Twitter lately. That's a great way to get in touch with us. You can also email not4adultscast. That's NOT4adultscast@gmail.com with your ideas or suggestions or notes. We're happy to do just about anything, because this is just basically every week whatever we think of to do just off the top of our heads. So
Yeah, and we're on Instagram and Facebook.
I need to be more active on the Instagram. I haven't been doing as much there.
Yeah, Rich is our main kind of admin for all this stuff, so thanks. Oh.
I don't know why that was evil.
Oh, it shouldn't have been evil.
I made an evil choice. I don't know why.
I was saying thank you.
Yeah, it's good. And then the second thing that you can do is tell someone about us. We'd love if you're listening to this and you're like, man, this is great, but I don't have a kid, but I know someone who does.
Gary would love this podcast.
Yeah, you know Gary would like this one. You know who else would?
Gary and Nancy.
Nancy would.
Yeah.
Natasha's, this is right down her alley.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I came up with some really good names, and then you threw out Natasha, which is...
Whoa, hang on.
Natasha's a fantastic name.
Natasha, we're so sorry. We did not mean to offend you.
I'm just saying, it's too much like my name for it to have been like a good pull it from your head.
Natasha, I can only apologize for Natalie. I'm so sorry. So as you go through this week and you're taking care of your kid, you're doing the right stuff there. Just don't forget, it's nice of you to have let them watch TV on your TV, but just don't forget you're the boss.
So watch whatever you want, Natasha.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Natasha.